Hey everyone, and welcome back to Delmere, the city Skyline series that is basically just me recreating bits of European cities at this point. And it's no difference this episode as well. I promise soon enough we'll get to building some actually uh, unique things, I guess. Anyways, today we're going to be starting off with the central station of the city. It's uh, using this Utrecht Central Station asset by Chernobyl. It's a really big uh, station, not just in general, but for city skylines as well. And it's a great asset. It just makes my computer lag a bit when I go near it, but it's totally worth it in the end. Uh, Anyways, we're going with it because I am not good enough to make my own custom station at this moment. Maybe I'll do that when we get around to sort of the secondary train station of the city, but now's not the time for that. Anyways, as you can see, we're continuing on with this area around the Klara Malarstrand area from Stockholm that we built in the last episode, and yeah, we're just putting together the rail lines that go over this sort of area and connecting them into this train station. Uh, the layout of the rail itself is pretty from the Stockholm train station. I just had to add a few extra lines uh, to connect up the extra lines that Utrecht station has, because it's a massive station. It has almost twice as many lines as the one in Stockholm, so I did have to add some extra lines. I'm not an expert when it comes to train stations and how all the railway lines are set up, so some of this is probably not realistic, but I tried my best. Let's just say that. And I did end up, as you'll see in a second, after sort of sorting out all the weird slopes that come with these rail line assets, which I end up fixing with node controller. Makes it pretty easy. I did cut out the parts where I was setting up the gravel that goes in between the railway lines. As you can see, yeah, just cut ahead over here, mainly because it took me way too long to put them together. I think I had for this entire station, I think I had about 5 hours of footage, about half of which was just me fiddling around with the gravel to get it to fit. Yeah, so now we've just moved on to the tram lines that are part of the station asset and just connecting them up into the rest of the road network. Most of this shouldn't change, but I just wanted to get sort of the basics in just so I knew what kind of space I have to work with. We're not going to finish the station in this episode, that's for sure. That's something I want to come to once I've sort of filled up the rest of the area around the station. And I just wanted to get the station in so I knew what kind of space I have to work with. Yeah, so I'm just sorting out this sort of area. I don't think this sort of area of the station should change much, but the area around it and the other side of the tram connection will most definitely change later on. Yeah, but the point of this was just set up the train station quickly, so I have an idea of what's going to go on in the area around it. Yeah, and in any case, that's not the main thing we're going to do this episode. That's coming up next. And we're back. We're now working on this residential development, the first one in Delmere, and it's a pretty small one. It's based off of the sort of waterfront residential development in Stockholm again. Pretty much at the same spot. It's a really interesting one. It's sort of on like this, I don't know, sort of like extension of the land, which I'm trying to recreate over here, just pulling out the keys a bit further into the river. It does make it a bit narrower, but I'll see what I can do about that. But yeah, I'm recreating that bit. Right now, just place down these retaining walls, which will serve as sort of the ends of this extension, and just make the bridges look a little bit better. I guess they're sort of like, I don't know, embankments. I'm not sure if that's the proper term, but something along those lines. Anyways, yeah. So now I'm just placing down these buildings. I believe they're the Kirk Falls residence, and yeah, it was a bit difficult to get these in because I wanted them to have entrances at the road level, obviously, but also a so like an entrance at the lower level by the waterfront, because there's gonna be some pedestrian path and a bit of green space down at the bottom. And as you can see right now, I basically moved the apartments and aligned them with the lower level with the keys, and I'm using these shop corners to create the entrances at the road level itself. And it seems to work pretty well in the city, at least, which is good. I believe the last house furthest to the left, I do remove that in the end, just so that the houses are all pretty much in a straight line. It looks a bit better, I guess. But yeah, right now just extending the pavements, making them a bit wider, so it feels a little more walkable. And as you'll see later, I use these to add in some steps down to the waterfront and the paths that will be down there. So yeah, just getting these to work just right. And now we're just going to work on this second development. This is going to go basically on top of the highway that we built in the last episode. Yeah. So I'm attaching these to that sunken road that you can sort of see just to the bottom of the screen, and just aligning them, making them uniform. And these pavement surface networks are just going to form the upper level of the development, because the idea was to have them accessible both from the sunken road and from the road further up on which the first set of residential buildings were connected. And these are just buildings to use up the spaces between these, so you don't have this empty space down there. The one thing I did manage to figure out was essentially how to have the highway itself go into a tunnel without having to turn the apartment blocks into procedural objects. So right now the highways just go into the residential buildings as if there's nothing there, which is unfortunate, but maybe I can get like a sort of I don't know, like a prop tunnel entrance I can use over there to cover it up, or any other suggestion. If you do have other suggestions, leave them down in the comments. I'm sure it would help me figure out what to do for that area. And now just adding these office buildings to fit into this small gap between these two roads. Again, they're different heights and there's not much you can do, but the office buildings fit in pretty well. And for the first one, just had to PO it to make it narrower, and then I found these office assets that I had subscribed to, and they fit in pretty well. They also work really well as like sort of generic assets. I know Jeremy Thunder talked about these in his latest episode, and I do agree that they don't have like a very distinct vibe to them, which helps them fit in pretty much anywhere. Right now, as you can see, just POing this building and shortening it because I wanted to create a sort of pedestrian walkway over the sunken road over here. So yeah, just lowering it so that it's underneath the level of the pavement networks. And yeah, now just going to add in sort of pedestrian overpass. As with pretty much any overpass I did, including the railway one from earlier, which I didn't show how I made that on camera, but yeah, pretty much for all of these I just used these. I believe they're tunnel entrance blocks, but yeah, just PO them, make them thinner, and they work pretty well as like a I guess like a concrete overpass kind of asset. And yeah, now just covering up the sort of you know how you get the sort of blank void whenever there's like two networks at weird heights, and now adding in these fences. Both we added them on the edges of the pedestrian overpass and now on the ends of the sunken road section, just to finish these off, and just adding pedestrian. I keep saying pedestrian, the pavement networks. Yeah, just to cover up the little things you get when you don't use a bridge segment for an overpass. And here's the little pedestrian path that's going to go along the bottom. I've just put it along this section of the waterfront, but it'll continue in both directions. I just haven't done that right now. And yeah, adding in the stairs that I talked about. And yeah, just as you see, it took me a while because I had to so break up the pavement and add in flat sections, because the ones I used had walls, which I mean are important. You don't want your Sims walking off of a like a 30-meter high ledge, but yeah, I have to end up adding in these sort of flat pavement sections so that they can actually get onto the stairs. And obviously working with all these networks becomes an issue. I think this was like my 5th iteration of this entire area. But yeah, we're almost done. Decided to switch up this little staircase over here, just make it a bit different. Add in this like a 90-degree turn in it. It looks nice. It works. And I did a bunch of this foliage that you can see now in the cinematics. I did them off camera because even these I couldn't get them quite right. But yeah, it looks pretty nice. You've got these trees lining the pedestrian paths, and I added 1 or 2 sort of fall or autumn sort of trees, which works. Here's the sunken road, and it looks pretty nice. It's not a very big area, but this sort of residential development looks pretty great. But anyway, that's going to do it. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you all for the next episode.